Kia ora, good morning everyone, Visual here, welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at a new fisheye zoom lens from Laowa, the Laowa 4.5-10mm f2.8. This is a manual focus lens designed for APS-C cameras and is available for pretty much all APS-C mirrorless mounts, including Sony E, Nikon Z, Canon RF, EFM, Fujifilm X, L mount, and Micro Four Thirds as well. The price of this lens is $399. It's not the cheapest fisheye lens in the market, but still quite affordable. So in this review, we'll take a look at the design, image quality, and I will also show you some real-world photos I shot with this lens. This Laowa 4.5-10mm lens is a fully manual, fully mechanical lens with no electronic features. The lens body is made entirely of metal and feels very solid and well built. Even the lens hood is metal and fits onto the lens perfectly. It's quite a small lens, especially considering this is a zoom fisheye with an f2.8 maximum aperture. The weight of my Fujifilm X mount sample is around 336 grams. It fits and balances nicely on both my larger Fujifilm X-H2 and the tiny Fujifilm XM5. There are 3 control rings on the lens, and because of its compact size, they are all quite close together. At the front, we have the focus ring with about a 90-degree focus flow. Just like most fisheye lenses, you got a very deep depth of field, so it's extremely easy to achieve focus, even when shooting at f2.8. Most of the time, I just leave the focus set to around 1 meter, and pretty much everything is in focus. Next, we have the zoom ring in the middle, which also has about a 90-degree flow. When you turn the zoom ring, the front element moves slightly forward and backwards. At the wide end, 4.5mm gives you a circular fisheye image, while at 10mm, it becomes a rectangular fisheye. This is technically a zoom lens. In reality, you most likely shoot at either 4.5mm or 10mm because images taken in between can look a bit weird with a tiny bit of black area at the corners. At the back of the lens is the aperture ring. It has click stops, with 1 click per stop from f2.8 all the way to f22. There's a small tab on both the aperture and zoom rings, which makes them easier to operate. Like most fisheye lenses, the front element protrudes quite a bit, so you cannot install any front filters. There's also no rear filter option. All the rings move smoothly, and most of the markings on the lens are engraved, which give it a slightly more premium feel. Okay, now let's have a look at the image quality, and as usual, we start with the image sharpness. The camera used here is the 40 megapixel Fujifilm X-H2, so it's a pretty demanding test. Let's look at the center sharpness first. Zooming into the center at 200%, sharpness at f2.8 is already quite good. Stopping down to f4 improves it further, and it stays consistent until diffraction starts to soften the image at smaller apertures. Looking at the corners, at f2.8 they are a bit soft, but they gradually improve as you stop down. From f5.6 onwards, corner sharpness becomes quite good. With this Laowa lens, you can get very close to your subject. The minimum focus distance is around 10 cm, which gives you a maximum magnification of 0.27 times. Pretty decent for a fisheye lens. When shooting close-up photos, there are 2 things to watch out for. First, because you can get quite close to your subject, it's very easy to cast a shadow on your subject. Second, distortion can be quite extreme, so objects may look very different. That said, if you get creative, you can definitely use this to your advantage to create some really unique images. And that leads nicely into 4K. because the only time you will really see background separation is when you are shooting at or near the minimum focus distance. The background blur looks quite nice and pleasing. There is a slight swirly effect, but nothing too extreme. Vignetting control is very good. At 10mm, even at f2.8, vignetting is minimal. Once you stop down a bit, it becomes almost unnoticeable. I also don't notice any significant vignetting at the wide end. Chromatic aberration is also well controlled. Even with the 40MP Fujifilm X-H2, I only notice a slight hint of color fringing in high contrast scenes, so it's really nothing to worry about. Lens flare control on this Laowa lens is excellent. When shooting wide open, there's very minimal lens flare, even when shooting directly into the sun, whether at 10mm or 4.5mm. Sunstars start to appear from around f8, and the rays become sharper and longer as you stop down further. At f22, the 14-point sunstar looks very clean and well defined. Choosing a fisheye lens is often more complicated than it seems. On one hand, you have the more common rectangular fisheye that most people are familiar with. On the other hand, there's the circular fisheye, which gives you that unique circular image, but it can be quite limiting due to the extreme distortion and unconventional framing. What makes this Laowa 4.5-10mm fisheye lens stand out is that it gives you both options in a single lens. You can switch between circular and rectangular fisheye depending on the situation without needing to carry two separate lenses. And despite being an f2.8 zoom, this lens remains compact and relatively lightweight, making it easy to carry around for everyday shooting or travel. The build quality is solid with a full metal construction that feels great in hand. Image quality is also in line with what you expect from Laowa, very good overall with no major issues to complain about. Some people may be scared by the fact it is a manual focus lens, but focusing a fisheye is incredibly easy. Personally, I leave it set to around 1 meter, and that works perfectly in the majority of situations. So, if you're looking for a fisheye lens for your APS-C or Micro Four Thirds camera, this is definitely one worth considering.